I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible because I'm also working on the Van Awards thing, which is going to be up a little later because I'm doing some things with that. I'm doing some stuff, seeing what works on camera, and I'm mixing a lot of things together in there. So yeah, I'm just trying to get this out of the way so it can be done with. And also, yes, that's my air conditioner that you hear on because, well, it's, even though the sun has already gone down because I'm filming this Thursday night, it's still 94 degrees outside. And yeah, so yeah, good news is in the morning when I wake up it'll be 78. And I know people who live in Wisconsin and they bitch when it gets up to the 70s, but here in Texas we breathe a huge sigh of relief when it actually falls down to the 70s. So I just wanted to say, you're welcome. I'm sitting here sweating my ass off for you. You better be appreciative of shit. Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle, and this is the last episode of WNBA Weekly for the 2014 regular season. So I'm going to try to keep this short and simple instead of prattling on about every single game that was played and every single game that's going to be played. I'm just going to give you some key pieces of information that you need to know regarding the playoffs and what you should look at as far as the weekend's concerned, what games still have an impact. In the Western Conference, for the first time since Maya Moore got drafted, the Minnesota Lynx are not the number one seed. The Phoenix Mercury are locked in at number one. The Minnesota Lynx are locked in at number two. The Sparks, they have a one-game lead on the Stars for the third seed, but the Stars are on the tiebreaker. So if LA wins both games, they get the third seed. But if they go 1-1 or 0-2, then the Stars can get the number three seed if they go 1-1. On the flip side, though, if the Stars manage to go 0-2, lose both of their games this weekend, and then they can end up being knocked out of the playoffs if the Seattle Storm win both of their games this weekend. And in the Eastern Conference, Atlanta is the number one seed. That much is guaranteed. You've got Chicago and Indiana. They both clinched the playoff berth, and they play each other on Saturday with the winner of that game more than likely getting the second seed. Whoever wins that game will own the tiebreaker over the other one for the second seed, but if they lose the second game after that, right now it's a three-way tie between Washington, Indiana, and Chicago. So Washington and Chicago, since they're playing each other, worst case scenario, one of these teams is going to go 1-1. But if that happens and Washington manages to go 2-0 over the weekend, then they can still get the second seed. But if Washington only goes 1-1 or yet 0-2, then whoever wins between the Fever and the Sky on Saturday will have the number 2 seed. But if either of these teams, the Fever or Sky, if just one of them wins out, then they get the number 2 seed. There's still a lot of action that could happen. And then you have the Mystics. They've got 2 games left and a 2-game lead on New York Liberty. And so if they just win one game, they're in. But if they lose both of their games and New York manages to win both of their games, then New York owns the tiebreaker and they end up getting in there. So the Liberty and the Storm, they're both in the same boat. They have to win out and they have to hope the team in front of them loses out. But of all of these teams, the one team I'm glad I'm not is the Mystics. I'm so happy I'm not a fan of them just because, you got a whole whirlwind of things that could happen. You're in the 4th seed right now, but you could go all the way up to number 2, but you could drop out completely. So really, we have no idea how it's going to end for them. Are you still confused? I know, so am I. So here are a few games to look forward to this weekend, and I'm only going to say the games that specifically have some sort of playoff implication. On Friday, you've got Washington at Connecticut at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and if Washington wins here, they're in. Pure and simple. But if they lose here, then that opens up the door for New York so that if New York beats them on Saturday, then New York the destiny is in their hands. All they have to do is win on Sunday, and then they're in the playoffs. So Washington, it's just so much easier for you if you can just grab a win here and then you're in the playoffs. And then if you do happen to win against the Liberty, that might be able to push you up to that second seed, possibly. Pure and simple, it's always easier if you can just manage to win games. If you lose this game, it's not the end of your season, but it does put it in jeopardy. Then you've got Minnesota at San Antonio. That one's going to be on NBA TV at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Minnesota, whether they win or lose, nothing's going to change. They're the number 2 seed. Whereas San Antonio, all they have to do is win here and they can clinch. And since Minnesota is locked into that number 2, who knows? Maybe they'll start resting some players. Maya Moore, she's played in every game this season and she's been total beast mode. Maybe they'll decide give her a couple days off to rest her legs, save her for that long playoff run. In which case, maybe San Antonio can get a good win here and move on to the playoffs. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I am sincerely hoping for. Then you've got Seattle at Los Angeles on NBA TV at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the Sparks, they don't really have too many reasons left to fight. They're in the playoffs. You know, if they can win both of these games, that guarantees the 3rd seed. But you know, it's not like the 3rd seed is that much better than the 4th seed. I mean, either way, you're either playing Minnesota or Phoenix. They've lost to both of these teams in the playoffs. So with the Sparks, I have no idea, how hard they're actually going to fight, how much we're actually going to see these players. Whereas the Storm, they've got nothing left to lose. All they can do is win and then hope San Antonio loses so that they can try and get into that 4th seed. So Seattle, they're going to come out full force like their season's on the line because for them, the playoffs begin now. They have no choice but to win. Sparks, who knows if they're going to be 100% for this day. I don't know what they're planning in their locker room. Then on Saturday, you've got New York at Washington at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and depending on what happens Friday, this game might not mean anything, but if the Mystics haven't clinched, then the Liberty, they might have enough fight left in them. I mean, then again, in the 4 previous games between these two teams, the home team has won every time. So that could come into effect here. And then you've also got Chicago at Indiana at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this looks like it might be one of the most exciting matchups so far because it could potentially be a round 1 preview, or it could be the game that gets one of these teams knocked all the way down to 4th place, or they have to play Atlanta in the 1st round. Either way, the winner of this game is in full control of the number 2 seed. It's theirs to lose. And then on Sunday, you've got a lot of games that, they could mean everything, they could mean nothing. You've got Indiana at New York on NBA TV at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And who knows, by then Indiana could have clinched the 2nd seed, or they could be in danger of falling down to number 4. New York, they could be out altogether, or a win here could put them into that number 1 seed. There's a lot that could be happening here, but it could all be decided already. Who really knows? And then you've got San Antonio at Chicago at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this, once again, it could mean nothing, it could mean everything. It could be San Antonio getting knocked out of the playoffs. It could mean San Antonio securing the 3rd seed. It could mean Chicago securing the number 2 seed, or getting knocked down to 3 or 4. I don't know. I don't know what the future brings. And then you've got Phoenix at Seattle on NBA TV at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, this game could mean absolutely nothing. It could mean Seattle punching their ticket to the postseason for an 11th consecutive year. Either way, this is a game I plan on watching just because it is the final game of the WNBA's 2014 regular season. And with that, that is the end of this edition of WNBA Weekly. Be sure to tune in 2015 when the show returns again next season, probably in May or sometime. I don't know. The schedule hasn't been released. Anyways, it's been a fun ride. I've enjoyed it greatly. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. And I will have postseason coverage. It's just not going to be like this same format. Also, be sure to tune in. I don't know when it'll be because I haven't even finished recording it yet, but I'm going to do the fan awards for the 2014 WNBA season. So I don't know when I'm going to be finished recording it, when I'm going to edit it, when I'm going to upload it. It should be like Tuesday at the latest, but who knows? It could be up a few hours after this. So I don't know. Just keep tuned. Click subscribe and you'll know exactly when it comes up. It'll be right there on the subscription page, hopefully. Because I've heard that for some people that doesn't work correctly. I haven't had too many issues with it so far, that I know of at least.